Hello, English 302 class. So I'm going to, for the second week, go ahead and look at some cause and effect in regard to the author's life. So on page 38, she states that when I finally understood the reasons for revolution, I made my decision. So she begins to just do things on her own, go ahead and take into account, this is cause for a revolution. There's social class division among, myself and she's noticing other people as well. And so she starts to make her own decisions. And on page 39, just the next page, her mother disciplines her. Her mother actually slaps her. And so, of course, like any teen or young youth, she's upset about that, but she still feels how she feels. And so later on, on page 113, the author actually states to her mother, she says, "Dictator, you are the guardian of the revolution in this house." So she really gets, she gets her own voice, and she actually kind of relates her mother to a dictator. And so it's really interesting to see her coming into her own self. And so the cause and effect that I'm looking at there is just like, because her parents cultivated, I want to say sometimes encouraged and negatively reinforced her behavior as a young child. The older she got, the author actually continued to rebel. So her rebellious behavior, I believe it was caused by her parents negatively reinforcing that, because every time she did something a little off, her parents would punish her for it. So I also wanted to challenge the key to paradise, because when I read that, it rung a bell. It sounded familiar to me. I read that on page 102. The author speaks about the key to paradise being something, a symbol, like an actual key, a plastic key that was painted gold, given to a lot of the lower class young men, and as an encouragement for them to join the army and the rebellion and fight. And so stating that they would get better riches in heaven than they're getting on earth, because they are lower class. And so what I did was do a little bit of research, and a lot of the stuff that I found was relating to Persepolis, which I thought was really I thought it made me suspicious. Like, I just like, okay, that made me challenge it even more. Like, is this a real thing, And so I did find a reference from a Time magazine article by an author named Tim McGurk. And that was July 18, 2005. That's when that was posted. And I figured out that it's a common phrase, and it may or may not have been actually used as symbolism to send lower class citizens to war. So it may or may not. I'm not going to challenge it and say that it isn't true, because I don't want to, I don't know personally. And so I don't want to disrespect the author at all. But I did just want to challenge that information and see, what we can find. If anybody does respond to that, please let me know what you find, because I found, like I said, a lot of references to the book, The Complete Persepolis, but I did not find any actual records or anything like that. So, but I'm going to keep looking. And then the last thing I want to do is just diagnose on page 86, the importance of the individuals that lost their lives during the war. The author states that a young girl tells her, I'd rather have my dad alive and in prison than, dead and a hero. And so that's the author's whole point of writing this book. She even states at the very beginning, in her introduction, that, she wants to recognize the importance of the individuals that did lose their lives throughout this war. And so I think she really does that here. And I think that's awesome. And I'm going to continue to look into that as I do post my videos, because I really like that theme, of her just really sharing the story of individuals. So thanks. See you guys next week.